having a life scholarship and being able to afford to go to college made me feel inspired to go.
When I got a life scholarship, it was such a relief.
I knew that I wanted to have an impact. Having a life scholarship through the SC Education Lottery was huge. It gave me the opportunity to make that impact right here at home.
The South Carolina Education Lottery. A better you, a better us, a better South Carolina. Visit sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
Your morning blitz begins now.
Another warm one on the way, a high of 92 and muggy. Could have an afternoon storm, which is going to add to that mugginess. So be prepared. Lots to do, lots to talk about. Going to be a very busy Wednesday this morning. First and foremost, I know we're going to talk about this all morning long, but get ready because early bird pre-sale tickets for Sonic Temple 2026 are coming soon. They've made the announcement May 14th to the 17th.
Oh, we're back to the right weekend.
Yep.
Back to the usual weekend.
Yes. And so I saw it all over social media yesterday. So, of course, these early bird pre-sale, you'll save the most money, but you won't know what you're buying tickets for.
Sonic Temple.
Well,
That's all I need to know.
Right,
Yeah.
Fair enough. That's exactly it. Let's also collectively, as men, take a moment of silence, knowing that unfortunately, all of us, as a group, as a species, all have to at least take the best we will ever reach is second place. It doesn't matter what your parents name you, but you will always have the second best name in history, no matter what. Because the first best name is taken. It's gone. We didn't know about this person before, but we do now because he's made his MLB debut. The Mets have a new pitcher, and he wins. He wins the contest of best name ever. Take a listen.
This might be the best name in baseball. Dickie Lovelady.
Enter Dickie Lovelady, the new Mets sensation.
It's a man, baby!
Hold on to your hats, Mets fans. Meet Dickie Lovelady, a 29-year-old pitcher.
The name of the new player, Dickie Lovelady.
The greatest name in sports. Dickie Lovelady is a Met. It's a man, baby! It's a man, baby! It's a man, baby!
It can't be beat. Dickie Lovelady wins the best name contest in history.
How does that happen?
Don't know. I mean, you know if your last name is Lovelady, right, and you name your son Richard, he's gonna be Dickie Lovelady. That's all there is to
Tommy
it.
want wingy.
What if your last name's Trickle? You don't name your kid Dick, but somebody did.
You kind of have to. I mean, I think the second I start thinking about a family as a man with the last name Trickle, I'm pumping out kids until I have a son, no matter what, just so I can have a Dick Trickle in my family. How are you, Kelly?
Great.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, you?
Stay cool yesterday?
I did. Still working on my mom's air conditioning situation, though I did make some progress. God love the gal at this particular company I'm working with. Managed to bump her up a week in the schedule. So next week is the projected fix time.
Oh, jeez.
Really?
But
just when it cools off.
We've got a nice little array of ceiling fans, box fans, all kinds of stuff going. So it's.
Is it that busy for air conditioning companies now that it
Let me
takes
tell
a
you
week?
something.
Oh, yeah, with this heat.
It is so busy. We called multiple companies yesterday who are weeks out before they can even come check out their situation. Yeah. Now, we luckily have a relationship with the company we're working with.
Right.
And so that got us a same-day visit. And then there's just, it's backed up.
The problem. Oh.
I talked to a woman yesterday. Her husband does HVAC, and he is getting 30 calls a day.
Wow.
That's
for service. Like he's working 13, 14, 15 hours a day right now, trying to get to people.
I did notice yesterday, I putting some stuff away in the basement. We've got like a side room, the storage room, and whatever big metal vent is in that room up on the ceiling, I walked in, I looked down, there was water on the floor, and I was like, what? I look up, and there's condensation all around this metal. It's just so hot, and it's unbelievable. Yeah. Well, let's get going on a Wednesday. Thick, what you got for Blitz Morning Trivia?
All right, $25 to Waterbeds and Stuff. Text in the answer first at 800-821-9970 to win that. And we just found this out. Besides Zach Wilde, of course, he's with Pantera, so they're definitely there. But what other former Ozzy Osbourne guitarist will be performing with Ozzy at the Black Sabbath reunion coming up here in a couple of weeks?
Still adding people.
Yep. Oh, yeah, and there's more I have to share with you. People.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, this is unbelievable how huge this thing is getting. Just bigger and bigger. But we want to know which former Ozzy guitarist, other than Zach Wilde, will be performing with Ozzy at the Black Sabbath reunion. Be the first one to text in the correct answer at 800-821-9970.
Let's get that answer for Blitz Morning Trivia. What you got, Vic?
All right, the question was, besides Zach Wilde, what former Ozzy Osbourne guitarist will perform with Ozzy at the upcoming Black Sabbath reunion? And that would be Jake E. Lee. I don't know if you guys remember Jake. I remember Jake very well because the first CD I ever bought was Ozzy's The Ultimate Sin, which featured Jake on that. And, of course, that also had a huge song on it that we've been playing for as long as the Blitz has been on the air, which was Shot in the Dark. And the interesting thing is Jake and Ozzy have not crossed paths since 1987. It was the last time they saw each other.
Really?
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
I mean, I'm not surprised if you're going to, be a guitarist for a huge song. Yeah, why wouldn't you be a part of the farewell show?
Yeah. And he said it was Tom Morello that is the reason he's going to be in the show. Former Rage Against the Machine guitarist, been a long-time Black Sabbath fan, but he was also named the musical director for this event. Tom Morello was.
Oh, very cool.
And
okay.
It was Tom that reached out to Jake E. Lee and said, hey, you need to be a part of this. Other huge song was the title track to Bark at the Moon. Monster Ozzy song. He had the iconic solo in this. Listen to this forever.
Only makes sense that he's there for sure.
Yeah, and so we know, the other performers, the big ones, Metallica, Slayer, Pantera, Hailstorm, Alice in Chains, Lamb of God, Anthrax, Mastodon, Tool, Guns N' Roses, and Rival Sons, but also saw the list of additional performers throughout the day, including Tom Morello, Billy Corgan from Smashing Pumpkins, David Draymond from Disturbed, Fred Durst from Limp Bizkit, Lizzie Hale, Jonathan Davis from Korn, KK Downing from Judas Priest, Rudy Sarzo, bass player for several bands, including Quiet Riot and Whitesnake, was huge in the 80s, Sammy Hagar, Slash, Sleep Token, Wolfgang Van Halen.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/ARTS. Just go to Indeed.com/ARTS right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
Ready to make a real impact every day? Join the Active Day Home Care team and help clients maintain their independence in the comfort of their own homes. Make a difference in someone's life as you provide essential daily assistance and protect their health and happiness. Earn up to $20 an hour and enjoy additional perks like optional daily pay, 401k, paid time off, ongoing educational training, and more. Join a team that values care, compassion, and your professional growth. Visit ActiveDay.com to apply.
Steven Tyler, Soundgarden, Chad Smith from the Chili Peppers, David Ellefson, and Jason Momoa will be the host of the entire day.
Well, when you're basically the godfather of rock and roll music, it figures that everyone's going to show up.
Yeah. Ozzy will do a short solo set. And I'm sure that's when Jake E. Lee will be in there. They'll probably do Bark at the Moon.
How short are we talking?
Right.
I don't know. Probably
I'm thinking real short.
Yeah, probably so. And then, of course, then he'll get Black Sabbath will come out. They'll do the final performance. It will all live stream Raw beginning 10 a.m. July 5th.
All right. Who's our winner?
That would be Andrew McCart from Columbus. He scored $25 to waterbeds and stuff.
Yeah, I will say I'm a little concerned about what Ozzy's going to sound like when he does perform.
Yeah, it feels like a better move to do what they do with those Rock and Roll Hall of Fame when they honor a band and other people get up and do their songs. Like, just have them out in the audience.
Or put them up the balcony.
On the throne somewhere. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Because you don't want to get to that point where, it's like, which, by the way, some people are saying about it. Did you see the story about AC/DC? No. So they were doing a show and some footage has made its way online. And there's a particular performance of TNT that someone put up, and some people are saying, "Okay, time to hang it up.
Oh,
let's enjoy what you did for 35, 40 years, but right now, it's not looking good." Now, here's the deal: the audio is from someone in the front row, and they've got their cell phone out and they're taking video. And one, Angus Young, or Angus not so young anymore. Who's all of 70-something.
70.
Look, he's not looking his best.
No.
He looks like a 70-year-old who's been a rock star for 50 years.
Yes.
He's not looking that. And then on top of that, Brian Johnson's voice, well, take a listen. I know it's hard to hear. It's cell phone footage.
It's front row.
Yes.
Pretty close, yeah.
It's just not there anymore.
The mix isn't right, for one thing.
Right.
Yeah, and I would like to hear it out away from the front row.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe it's just a weird...
One fan said this is so painful, they need to stop.
Okay. What would you say about AC/DC coming out? It's the band, but a lot of it is just like lip synced.
Voice tracks, yeah.
A voice track, like do some of it live, maybe the TNT part,
right,
and then let the voice track take over. I don't know. I wouldn't mind that, and I would pay to see that, because I don't want to be like, this sucks and I just spent $150 for a ticket. I want to see the band.
You want to see them move around on stage? Why wouldn't you just listen to the CD or watch videos?
I mean, you could say that, but seeing people live that you admire or you love your whole life, and you're actually there in an audience and you're seeing them on stage, there's value in that.
True.
The value starts degrading if they can't perform.
I mean, to me, it's almost like the what Axl Rose sounds like now. It's like, you can't hit the same notes you used to. Now, granted, they've been at it forever.
Yeah,
I get it. No one's voice is going to last forever. No. You get older, things happen. But at some point, you gotta say, okay, we did our thing. Let's ride off into the sunset.
And it sucks. It sucks for any situation like this with a band. It always sucks for the singer, because the drummer, the guitar player, the bass player, they can still play that no problem, and it sounds perfect. They don't have to worry because it's not their voice, but the singer has to deal with that. I don't know. I got a couple friends who saw them up in Cleveland a few weeks ago and said they were fantastic and they had the best time of their life. So,
and maybe there is some value in seeing a horrid performance, because you can say, I was there when that happened.
I was there on the downward spiral, for sure. So we'll see what happens. 98.7 The Blitz.
Not so breaking news. The news already broke. We're trying to put it back together.
Every single day, twice a day at 6:40 and 8:25, we do our Not So Breaking News, and we tell you some of the the dumbest news stories out there, and a lot of times it revolves around dumb criminals and the stupid things that they do. Look, you shouldn't be breaking the law. However, if you break the law, especially right now, with tension so high around the world and more specifically in our country, you don't want to break a law in Washington, D.C. They're already kind of on high alert in that area anyways. But if you decide to break a law in Washington, D.C., you most certainly don't want to do it in like a federal area, including the National Mall in front of the Capitol building. Uh-oh. Which is where this idiot driver decided a good idea would just to be drive up onto the lawn of the National Mall and start doing donuts. Take a listen to some of the witnesses.
What is he doing? This is insane.
I'll be going the opposite way of the SUV.
He just started barreling towards the mall. So that's when I pulled out my phone and I started recording. As soon as he started racing up and down the grass, everybody started kind of screaming and getting out of the way.
No actual details have really been released. It's a 30-year-old driver. We know that. I'm surprised this man is still alive.
Right?
I am surprised they just did not straight up open fire on this person who's driving an SUV around the lawn of the National Mall in front of the Capitol building.
What's he going to do next?
Right, exactly.
Doesn't it get crowded too?
Yes. People were moving out of the way, and there were people kind of hanging out on blankets, and they were like, "Okay, time to go," and they pick up their blankets and move. Yeah, bad idea.
What do you just like? Let me make myself famous today.
I guess.
I mean,
I guess. This next story coming from Bethany, Connecticut, where this poor man has just got awful luck, and I don't want to laugh at this poor man who is no longer with us, but this is like out of a bad comedy. A motorcyclist was riding his motorcycle around Bethany, Connecticut, when he struck a deer around Woodhill Road and the Litchfield Turnpike at about 9:42. The 37-year-old motorcyclist named Philip Labonte was riding north on Route 69 when he collided with a deer, and the impact threw him from his motorcycle onto the roadway. Absolutely awful. However, moments later, as he laid there in the road injured, a Subaru driver traveling in the other direction came around the corner and ran him over.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/ARTS. Just go to Indeed.com/ARTS right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
That is Final Destination.
Wow. That is Final Destination. This poor... Talk about your bad luck.
I mean, it was his day to go.
Yeah,
you have to be assured of that as the family even. Like, this was absolutely happening today.
Right. And if, you know, whatever you believe, let's say the big man upstairs is like, you know, doing his paperwork, and he's like, all right, Philip, sorry, man. He scratches your name off the list. He flicks his finger, and the deer comes running out. Bam! You hit the deer. You go rolling on the road, and you hear the big man go, scratch your name.
That's tougher than I thought.
Well, he scratches your name off the list, and he's going on to the next name, and then he hears, and he's like, oh, son of a... All right.
Bring in the Subaru.
Yeah, he flicks his finger again and sends in the Subaru. Oh, I am sorry, Philip. That is just unfortunate. And that is your not so breaking news, 99.7 The Blitz. You know, I think I'm going to have you make like an official morning show open revolving around ChatGPT because it's another day and another segment where we're talking AI or ChatGPT. However, this one I bring up because, I don't know, I guess it moved me in a different way. I was doom scrolling on TikTok and I came across this TikTok where someone went to ChatGPT and put in this prompt. You talk to millions of people every day. What advice do you wish humans would actually listen to? And so ChatGPT kicked out a bunch of answers. And is this fake? I don't know. If it's not, ChatGPT is getting really, really smart. Number 1, your phone is making you miserable. Yes, it connects you, but it also steals your time, your focus, your peace, and your sense of self. Take the phone less seriously, put it down, go touch grass, literally. Number 2, most of your anxiety comes from trying to control things you can't. Your peace starts with the moment you stop trying to micromanage life and accept that some things are above your pay grade. Number 3, sleep is not optional. If you're running on caffeine and vibes, you're also running from burnout. Your body isn't being drastic, it's begging. Go to bed, hydrate, repeat.
These are all good so far.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Number 4, stop waiting to feel ready. Perfectionism is procrastination wearing high heels. You'll never feel ready. Do it scared. Confidence comes after action, not before.
Yes.
Number 5, if it costs you your peace, it's too expensive. That relationship, that job, that toxic obligation you keep saying yes to, if it drains you daily, it's not worth the badge of being strong or selfless. Protect your peace like it's your PIN number. ChatGPT,
Man.
Come on. Number 6, you are not your thoughts. Your brain spits out all sorts of weird, scary, critical noise. You don't have to believe it just because it's loud. Learn to observe without attaching. Number 7, consistency beats motivation. Motivation is a flaky friend. Discipline is the one who shows up even when it's raining. Build routines, keep promises to yourself. Results will follow.
That's good.
That's great.
Number 8, most people aren't thinking about you. We actually talked about this not that long ago.
That's it. Stop caring what everybody else thinks because they're not looking at you anyway.
They're too busy worrying about themselves.
Right.
So stop living to impress ghosts in the room. Number 9, kindness is never wasted. You never know who's hanging on by a thread. Be the soft place to land, even if you're the only one in the room offering it. And number 10, you're allowed to reinvent yourself. You're not locked into any version of you that someone else expects. Grow, change, surprise even yourself. Like, some of those are pretty specific, kind of out of a motivational book, but worded in a certain way that I think just resonates. So I don't know if someone created these prompts and just said they asked ChatGPT or if ChatGPT really put them out, but man, those are some strong words.
Good.
Well, I'm guessing, ChatGPT pulls from everything.
Yeah.
So these are things that someone else had already said in some way, shape, or form.
And ChatGPT might have reworded it in a certain way, for sure.
But they made it. But ChatGPT made it sound so good.
It really did. Yeah. So I would say take the advice of ChatGPT on this one. All 10 pieces of advice, actually. Good for you, ChatGPT. It's 99.7 The Blitz.
And now, all right, I'm listening. The 3 things you need to know before you go.
AEP Ohio is asking customers to conserve energy during these high temperature days this week. The electricity provider yesterday issued an emergency request to cut down on usage during the peak times. We're going to raise your bill, but don't use your power, all right? They're saying the hot weather's putting a significant burden on the regional power grid. They recommend turning up your thermostat a couple degrees and avoiding the use of large appliances between 3 and 7 p.m. Now, word is that AEP did send out some automated phone calls in Columbus yesterday saying there would be an emergency outage. Namely, in the Harrison West neighborhood, as according to Reddit, people did lose power for about 45 minutes. There were also outages on the northeast and north central sides of town. Former Ohio State quarterback Art Schlichter, who was indicted on felony drug charges after being found with crack pipes in his pants pocket back in February 2024, appeared in court yesterday. Schlichter was pulled over in North Linden on February 2nd, 2024, allegedly handed the trooper 2 crack pipes out of his pocket. And after a probable cause search of the vehicle, small white rocks were found, and Schleister reportedly told the trooper they were crack rocks. Yesterday, the judge granted Schleister and his attorney a 7th continuance in the case. 7 continuances. Interesting.
For what? What do you need continuances for?
Well, his attorney says Schleister's facing some health challenges and is not yet prepared to enter a plea.
Well, when you smoke crack, you have health issues. That's what happens.
This guy is a really, really sick person.
Yeah.
Like, sick in terms of his mental health.
For years now.
For years.
It just keeps happening.
Multiple prison stints, multiple arrests, drug issues, gambling issues. This person is a sick human being and is older and is suffering the effects of all that, all the trouble.
Stuff. I don't mean to be ignorant, but why do you need crack pipes? Are they like bongs? Do you get different shapes and sizes, or figured if you have one, you could smoke your crack?
There's one for the raccoon.
Multiple. No, there's maybe you got a friend.
Yeah, okay.
You don't want to be sharing crack pipes. That's not healthy.
Right. Your mouth germs and everything, for the 2 teeth you have.
The guy who plays John Kreese on Cobra Kai, Martin Kove, was removed from a fan convention on Sunday after allegedly biting his former co-star Alicia Hannah Kim in an incident that she says left visible marks. Kove was escorted out of Washington State SummerCon after the incident with Hannah Kim, who played Kim in more than a dozen episodes of the series. According to a police report, Hannah Kim approached Kove to greet him at the event, and he grabbed her arm and bit down. She told police she was left with visible teeth marks.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/ARTS. Just go to Indeed.com/ARTS right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
Losing in pain, and she said when she told him not to bite her anymore, became visibly angry and said it's just a joke. See, I can't.
They can't do that.
Hannah Kim declined. She did not press charges, but she did file a report because she wanted to document the incident. She's like, I don't know what's coming in the future. Better put this down on paper.
Right.
Kove did apologize before being removed from the event. How old is this guy, Martin Kove? Because I guess the reason I'm asking is because there is a time in life when you age to a point that you kind of lose some reasoning.
Yeah, for sure.
And you think something might be funny, but it's really inappropriate, but you're not in the reasoning capacity to be able to understand that anymore.
Yeah. He's 78.
Okay,
yeah,
so
that kind of makes sense.
You're getting up there. He may think, yeah, it's just a funny joke, and he really meant it as a funny joke, but it's just inappropriate.
Get him a body bag!
So, I don't know. I'm just saying, that's a really
You can't go around
weird
biting
move.
people.
You should know that at
You would
your
think.
big age. All right, those are your 3 things.
All right, I need a little advice on how to handle a particular situation, because after the show today, before I go golfing, I have to take a trip back to the particular dealership where I purchased my car. Because if you haven't heard, not even a month ago, I haven't even made my first car payment yet. I was actually in the process of looking for a car for Nora. But I went to a particular dealership, and there it was. Basically, my dream car. A Dodge Charger RT 5.7 Hemi, black on black, 20-inch wheels. I've always wanted like a kind of a muscle car. Got that Hemi, got that big engine, black on black, unbelievable. I had the car for 24 hours, and the check engine light came on. And come to find out, Wasn't a huge deal. It was an evaporation leak around the gas tank, and so they had to get this new seal. However, when I took the car back, they fixed it for me. But they had my car for 11 days because they were waiting on the part. Because it's not a Dodge dealership where I got it, so they only have one guy that works on all the used cars, so he was kind of backed up a little bit, and they had to wait on the part. Come to find out, we've got a car guy here. I'm not much of a car guy. Look, I went in, I told the sales guy it was the easiest sale he was ever going to make, because I test drove the car. It's exactly what I was looking for. It drove great. I was like, where's the paperwork? So I didn't look at every little thing about this car. But yesterday, we've got a car guy here, and he goes, hey, just so you know, one, your license plate is hanging off because the screw came out, which has happened before. And he goes, you might need new tires. And I was like, I've had the car a month. Maybe my fault for not checking the tires when I bought the car, possibly. But yesterday, Nora and I ran to the grocery store to pick something up I was making for dinner, and she gets out and she goes, oh, look at this. The back passenger door, above the window, not the hood, but the top part of the door, whatever little trim they have there, popped off. So now it's like wobble, wobble. It's hanging off. I am livid.
Yeah, that's too many.
That is too many.
Yeah.
And so I'm going in there today, and my question is, how angry can I get? I don't want to. Look, I wouldn't use my powers for bad. I don't want to use this microphone for bad, which is why I haven't said the dealership's name yet. But I'm thinking about going in there and being like, we need to talk. Otherwise, I'm going to share some information about your dealership. Because or it's been, like I said, it's been not even a month. I haven't even made my first car payment yet.
Do you have an out?
That's what I'm saying. Are they in the wrong? Can I
take it back?
Demand.
Get your money back?
I want my money back, and I demand that they fix it.
Do you have that 90-day warranty, which usually comes with a used car?
Oh, that's a good question.
But that doesn't mean they'll cover that.
Right.
You know, it's definitely engine and transmission.
Am I in the wrong
coverage,
here? Should I have done more due diligence buying a used car? And
Yes, you should have. But the fact is, they probably weren't completely honest with you, which is on them. That's the thing, is you don't know until it's... I wouldn't know. I would have done the same as you. This is what I want. It sounds good, drives great.
Uh-huh.
My husband would check the tires. My husband would go over every last inch of that vehicle before he bought it. But some people take mechanics with them to take a look at this car.
Yeah.
You know, but it's like, it's tough. I would say, everybody should do their due diligence, but how would you know that the trim was going to pop off?
Right.
How would you know that the evaporation, the seal was going to make? You wouldn't know any of that.
See, I have a feeling, I have a very strong suspicion that seal was an issue before, because when that check engine light initially came on, I went to what was it, Auto Trade? AutoZone, and they did the plug-in thing, and they got the code, and then they told me it was an evaporation leak.
Right.
And then he goes, "Do you want me to turn the check engine light off?" And they could boop boop, and they turned it off.
Yes.
And so I have a feeling that's what they did at the dealership, hoping the check engine light wouldn't come back on. But it did 24 hours after I bought the car.
I feel like the things that you could have visually determined, the tires probably were not great when you got it. And that should be something that a normal person could see and should look for. But for those things that you wouldn't even know to look at, I feel like the dealership has an obligation to sell you, especially in a used car situation, sell you something that isn't going to start falling apart on you within 24 hours.
Apparently someone texted in and said Ohio has a lemon law where they can't sell you known pieces of crap.
Right.
The problem is you need a lot of documentation to prove that it's a lemon.
Right.
I mean, you have to say, look, I've taken this thing in 15 times to get it fixed. And then you can, I don't know how many documents you need, but I don't know. I would be really angry, but I would not threaten at this point. See how they respond. Say, hey, I just got this. Is the second time I've been in here.
Yeah, I'm going to go in and ask. And I don't know, there's got to be, I'm assuming that they have to, maybe you know, they have to replace tires at 0.2 of tread, and this car had 0.3 of tread.
Yeah.
You know, it was like right there on the line. So like, oh, we don't have to replace the tires. So I'm kind of curious. All right, well, I'm going to go in there right after the show, and I want to see what they say.
I went to buy a used car right after I got out of high school, this used car dealership. And I was ready to buy it, all set, getting ready to sign all the paperwork, and they hand me this form and said, oh, you need to sign this. It says that you're aware that this car may have been wrecked, and we don't know.
Right.
And I said, wait, what? I said, you just have to acknowledge this car could have been wrecked in the past, and we don't know it. I said, thanks, I'll go shop somewhere else.
Yes, Carrie, I do understand. Carrie texted in and said, I've known teenagers who did more due diligence with their car purchase than this. Thank you, Carrie, I know. Okay. I was excited that I found my dream car, and I just said I'll take it. I jumped in. You're
Let's
right.
do a Carfax on it this morning. Like we'll put the VIN number in and see.
I have the Carfax.
Yeah, you've done all that. Okay.
Yeah. And there were no major issues or anything like that. They had the record report. It was a 2-owner vehicle, and I got all that. Yeah, and there were no major issues.
And hopefully the trim is just a small thing. It's an easy fix maybe, but it just feels like it's like one too many things now.
Right.
Your license plate's hanging for the second time. You had some type of issue with your fuel tank or the seal.
What makes you think you need new tires?
Bill.
Bill.
Dale said.
Bill walked in.
Oh, Bill
said. And
okay.
said, because he saw the license plate, and he goes, I'm a car guy, and I just happened to look down. It looked like the trim, the outside trim on the wheels was running a little low. You might want to get that looked at. And I was like,
You ought to have Dale look at the whole thing.
I could do that.
Top to bottom. Have him see what he thinks you should go in and ask the delership to do.
I could do that.
But I don't know, man, because it is a used car. Do you bear some responsibility for that?
How much of a used car, what's the line there? Because it doesn't have an exuberant amount of miles. It's got miles, but not, a crazy amount.
3 issues before you make the first car payment's a little much.
That's a little much.
Yeah.
That's a little much. So, all right. Well, thanks everyone texting in. I'm reading all the texts. I appreciate it. 997 The Blitz.
It's the Morning Blitz with Goose, Kelly, and Thick.
The time is gone. It's the time. Time after time. Good times. Big time. Let's lose and warm again.
Yeah, your chance to win. We're going to play the Time Warp. It is your chance to pick a ticket. 800-821-9970 if you would like to play and win. You could go see Ghost if you would like to do so. You could go see Night of Thunder this Saturday at National Trail Raceway with fire-breathing jet funny cars and dragsters and Scott Rods gassers and wheel-standing PT cruisers and the Dragonfire jet truck and more. Or, if you want, you can go see Tecumseh, which is now launched at Sugarloaf Mountain Amphitheater. VIP tickets, backstage tour, VIP collectible souvenir poster, plus a concession voucher as well. We're playing the Time Warp. It's very simple. Thick has worked very hard on gathering audio clues from TVs, movies, commercials, songs, movie soundtracks. However, all the clips you hear are going to be from the same year. And we're all going to take a guess as to what year that is. The person closest is going to win. So let's get ourselves a contestant. Blitz, good morning. Hi, who's this?
We're playing the Time Warp. This is Rick.
Rick, how you doing this morning, Rick?
Good. How about you?
Not too bad. Thank you very much. All right, Rick, we are going to play the Time Warp. We have got the audio clues ready to go. Remember, it could be TV, movies, music, theme songs, news clips, but they're all going to come from the same year. After you hear it, we're going to give you the choice. You can go first or last, and we'll see if you can walk away with some tickets. Are you ready, Rick?
Yes.
All right, Thick. Come on.
To my little friend. They're one of a kind. They're Cabbage Patch Kids. You can give them all your love.
Oh, gosh.
Wow.
I should be able to nail this.
All right, Rick, did you hear the clues?
Yes.
Do you want to go first or last?
I'll go last.
Gonna go last. All right. God, I know I got a Cabbage Patch Kid, but it wasn't the year they came out. So let's see if we're in agreement here. I mean, we got Boston.
Got what?
More Than a Feeling? Is that Boston? That wasn't More Than a Feeling?
That's Photograph by Def Leppard.
Oh, why was I singing More Than a Feeling? I was like, there's no... Okay, so Scarface, I'm sorry. Yeah. Scarface, Photograph, and Cabbage Patch Kids. And so that just changed my answer now. Because I was thinking, there's no way Boston and Cabbage Patch Kids came at the same time. I knew something was up. Gal, you want to go first or second?
I mean, I kind of want to go first.
Go ahead.
All right. The Cabbage Patch craze was happening. After my high school graduation, I got a job working at Sporting Goods and Toys at Service Merchandise, and it was absolutely nuts. I am going to say that based on Cabbage Patch alone, and when I worked at Service Merchandise, it was 1983.
Okay. So we're close. Because I thought Scarface was late 70s, early 80s, and I dead set in my head. I was hoping you didn't pick my year. I'm going 1982.
Okay.
Rick!
Can Rick pick one of us if he thinks one of us is right?
No, he has to take the L. That's why you get the choice. You want to go first or last. That's the problem. You can go first or last, but you can't pick the same year. So 82 and 83 are taken, Rick. What do you got?
Well, Kelly took the one I wanted because I think it was 83, but I guess I'll go 84.
84. Okay. I think you're a little too late. Scarface wasn't 84. There's no way. And I think I got my Cabbage Patch Kid in 84. Well, Thick, what do you got?
Photograph by Def Leppard off the album Pyromania. Pyromania, the movie Scarface, and the Cabbage Patch Kids all made their debut in 1983.
I should have gone first. All right.
Oh, Rick.
Well, you would have been correct, Rick. And you know what? That's good enough for us. We'll let you pick a ticket anyways. Okay?
Everyone's a winner.
Your choice, Ghost, Night of Thunder, or Tecumseh. You're going to be at one of them. I hope you have a great time. Thanks for playing along, man. We'll talk to you soon, okay?
Don't go anywhere.
800-821-9970 is the phone number and text line now. You can call and text the exact same number. Save it in your phone, 800-821-9970, because I would love for you to call us right now or text if you want. What did you spend money on that was totally worth it? Because I do all the cooking, 99% of the cooking in the household. I love to cook. And I've invested in some decent pots and pans before.
Yeah.
But now I'm looking at some really nice pots and pans.
Oh, what's the brand? Sorry, I asked the exact wrong question, didn't I?
You did. I had them saved. I was reading all the reviews, and I had them saved. And I was like, wait a minute, what's the actual brand?
Damn it.
It wasn't the Hexclad. It was, oh, God, I can't remember. But they're pricey. They're pots and pans can get pretty pricey if you buy the nice ones.
I do like good stuff in the kitchen.
Yep.
I cook. You cook. You know.
But Nora's on the opposite end. She's like, that's way too much for pots and pans.
Nora doesn't do the cooking.
Right. And there is a certain quality you can get.
Oh, yeah.
Without a doubt. You can get certain quality out of your food if you get better pots and pans.
There's lesser quality you can get, and you'll just have to buy new ones sooner.
That too. You know. Well, do they last longer? Are they more durable? So I want to know if you've ever dropped some dime on something, but it was totally worth it. Kelly, can you think of something where you put in a little extra money?
Yeah, I'd say that anytime I buy a better quality shoe, like say a running shoe. Now, I know in certain hobbies you can get ripped off. People are overcharging for certain things, but there is a difference between running shoes or walking shoes. If you do a lot of walking, there's a difference between the cheap ones and the ones that are made well and made for your feet. I mean, measured for your feet.
Right. Because then you're talking about the cushioning and the sole and all that stuff.
Yeah, it makes a difference. So I would say that. And I would say something that I haven't paid for, but I think is absolutely worth the money after flying back and forth from Hawaii several times when my sister lived there, is first class. I never flew first class, but that flight is miserable. Miserable in coach. And I would say it's probably got to be worth the money to fly first class or business class, somewhere where there's extra room where you could actually maybe doze off.
Yeah, I did. I went overseas, and the 7 hours to England was a lot in coach.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's tough to be crammed in for multiple hours.
But also, knowing you're going on vacation and dropping, let's say, $500 on a coach ticket versus, what, $1,500 or more?
I know. It's a lot.
And then so you've got $1,000 extra to spend on vacation, you know, or do you just have part of the vacation budget? You buy that business class
Like I said,
ticket.
I've never done it. I've never flown first class, but I do feel like in the middle of that red eye from Hawaii back home, oh my gosh, it's like so bad.
Yeah.
I would, like, at that point, I would upgrade. Here's $1,000. Please upgrade me. I'm desperate for it.
Okay, yeah. Vic, you spend money, you put down some more money on a better quality thing?
Couple things.
Okay.
You said what's worth the money? NFL ticket is absolutely worth every penny. I will throw my money at them.
Okay.
I will say the same about Sonic Temple. I know a lot of people say, I'm not paying it. I will. Every year I will pay it.
Yeah, and Thick
for the
Rick,
floor.
just FYI, you buy multiple, 4-day passes for your family. Like, Thick Rick's not getting free tickets left and right. He is paying for them.
I get myself and my wife, but my son and my daughter, and, so if I want to get them in, I got to buy it.
You're buying the floor.
Because they need to be on the floor.
Yeah.
Because we're going to be on the floor. I want them on the floor. They want to be on the floor, and those we can't get for free. So, I do buy those. The other thing I will say, G. Loomis fishing rods are the most amazing, most sensitive rods. They are not cheap, but they do come with a lifetime warranty.
I think there's absolutely some quality in golf clubs.
Yeah, without a
for sure.
doubt. It's going to, you know damn well your game is going to be better with quality.
But at the same time, you can spend a lot more for the pro stuff, but I'm not at the pro level. So it's like, you find that balance of I'm better than the average golfer buying the starter set. I need something a bit more advanced, but not spending the top dollar on everything.
But fishing gear is the same way as golf clubs, man. Because if I'm out doing an 8-9 hour tournament, I'm making 2,000 casts.
Right.
In that day. And that's multiple days I'm doing that.
800-821-9970. Carrie says, stay away from generic ice cream and store brand Doritos. It's worth the extra cost.
Oh, yeah. I do love some Grater's ice cream. Oh, my God.
Yeah, and that's pricey. It's
$20 for a half gallon.
It is the most expensive ice cream, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's how much for a half gallon?
Oh, it's $19.99. For a
half gallon of ice cream?
It is
That's
so
Grater's.
good.
You've never had Grater's, have you?
I don't care.
It's so
I don't
good.
care what it is. I am not spending $20 on a half gallon of ice cream. There's no effing way.
Yeah, the homemade
That's
that homemade brand cookies and cream's the best deal ever.
3382 says I spent a little more on my divorce, but it was totally worth it.
Oh, yes. You do hear people say.
I can totally see that.
It cost me this much money and it was worth every
penny.
Yeah. Travis, I totally get this. A kitchen knife set. Yeah, those starter blocks.
Yes.
Not the best. And that's also a borderline safety issue because you got a unsharpened knife and you're trying to cut through something and that thing slips. You're only going to be counting to 9 for the rest of your life. Without a doubt.
What are the best knives?
Oh, there's a lot of good ones out there. Yeah, for sure. Let's see, 800-821-9970. Would love to hear. What did you spend money on that's totally worth it?
Did you say how much the pots and pans were?
I did. $750.
Oh, okay. They're really high quality, man.
Yeah.
It does make a difference in the way things turn out.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're gonna get an even sear on your steak.
Oh.
It's gonna transfer the heat more evenly instead of in the center.
Everything
for sure. So 800-821-9970. Give us a call. Shoot us a text 997 The Blitz. I told Nora yesterday that I found this brand new set of pots and pans I want to buy because I love to cook and I think it's a great investment. And I said, look, I'm going to spend $750 on a set of pots and pans. And she said, no, you're not. So I'm not spending $750 on some pots and pans.
Oh, that was the end of it.
Yeah. For now, you pick your battles. You back off a little bit. And then you readdress it down the line.
Yeah, when she really wants something.
Exactly.
You go, I'd love to get that for you.
Yeah.
Love to get that for you.
But
I can pick it up while I get my new pots and pans.
But I want to know, to me, a great set of pots and pans, totally worth it. Again, as someone who loves to cook, what is something that is totally worth the money? 1342. Text texted in, said trash bags. Absolutely worth the money.
Yep.
Spend the extra $5-10 on the stronger trash bags than on the generic kind, because, man, there's nothing worse than trying to pull that thing out of the garbage container and all of a sudden it rips, or the handle rips.
Yes.
Yeah, the worst.
Juice, the garbage juices come out.
Yes.
Oh.
800-821-9970. You can call and text the same number now. What's something that's totally worth the money?
Somebody said Velveeta shells and cheese. Don't go generic. Go Velveeta. They texted us from 2959.
Some of that boxed generic macaroni and cheese, the Great Value macaroni and cheese is not bad. Not gonna lie, I could go with that. I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Randy says, I'm a big kid. I prefer either Kobe or Mold King building block sets, like Legos. They are high quality and more elaborate builds.
Okay. I can totally see that.
Go for it, Randy.
We've gotten a couple. Jonathan texts in, says, I've spent over $100,000 on tools because you got to have the good tools. And someone else texted in and said the same thing. They said, buy once, cry once, which means you cry over the price the first time, but then that's the only time. You're not crying every time you have to repair or buy new tools. You suck it up, you cry over the price, but then you've got those tools for life. You can totally see that.
All right, let's see here. Somebody bought a $2,300 fishing kayak.
Yeah, there you go.
Let's see, TJ, $2,300 on a fishing kayak. Best $2,300 he ever spent.
Okay. Yeah, I would assume you don't want a cheap kayak.
No.
That can lead to some problems.
These things now, you put trolling motors on them. They got multiple slots to hold your rods up behind. You can go out there with 4 rods, trolling motor, electronics on them, everything.
I'm not so concerned about the add-ons. I'm more concerned about the structure of the kayak
they're
itself.
tough.
You don't want a cheap kayak.
They're tough. Yeah, my buddy does a lot of bass fishing in a kayak, and he can actually stand up in it.
Yeah, you don't want to be out there in the middle of the big lake, and all of a sudden you hear. Why are my feet getting wet?
Am I leaning to the left here? Starboard? Or whatever it is.
Dave said he spent an extra $10,000 upgrade from a plain Jane pickup to an awesome off-road package, and I have a blast in this truck, he says. And he sent a picture. It's cool.
Okay.
There you go. Yeah, throw the money at it.
We have got quite a few texts, and I think you'd have to agree. You spend the money on the good weed.
And you get what you pay for.
You get what you pay for. It's 99.7 The Blitz.
And now, all right, I'm listening. The 3 things you need to know before you go.
Closing arguments are set for tomorrow in Sean Diddy Combs' sex crimes trial in New York City. After 6 weeks, the prosecution rested yesterday. 6 weeks it took to present their case. The defense presented its case yesterday in 20 minutes, and that was it. Done. They called no witnesses. They did read a small selection of texts between Combs and 2 of his ex-girlfriends to show that they were willing participants in those freak-offs, and that they were not trafficked. So supposedly the closing arguments start tomorrow. Don't know how long those will last. Then the jury gets the case.
Yeah, but that's 2 women of the how many that were involved in this?
Yeah, I don't know. They presented a lot of witnesses. The prosecution did. I'm not sure. I mean, he's not charged with. Okay, he's just charged with trafficking and RICO. He's got a RICO charge.
Right.
The guy is a piece of crap. Undoubtedly, one of the worst humans on planet Earth. Were they all willing adult participants? I don't know. That was up to the defense to prove. Or, well, no. They just have to defend. It's up to the prosecution to prove.
Right.
Did they prove it? I don't know. I did not pay close enough attention. We all know that he is gross.
And I don't, I don't doubt that there may have been some women that may have been willing participants into that kind of thing. We're trying to get ahead, whatever the case may be. But even if there's one woman who wasn't a willing participant.
I hear ya.
That's enough.
That's enough.
That's enough.
And as a juror, you sit there and hear all of this and see the videos and just how, I'm sure, uncomfortable that made all of the jurors hearing this testimony. You have to be able to determine if the law was broken.
And you couldn't find one person to come in and defend you. One witness.
Yeah, I don't know. The defense was those texts, I guess. That was it. Those
not a
three
very
texts
good
they read.
defense.
And
They're like, you can't put anybody on the stand.
But, yeah. So I don't know. It's tough. Innocent until proven guilty, and the prosecution's job is to prove him guilty. Did they do it? I don't know. I hope so. Brazilian tourist has been found. We talked about this yesterday. Remember the woman? They could hear her from inside. She fell into a volcano.
Yes.
They could hear her on Saturday and Sunday. Then Monday, they stopped hearing her. They think she fell down even further. They found her yesterday, and she did not make it, unfortunately. 26-year-old Juliana Marins she did survive that initial fall on Mount Rinjani, but search and rescue did get to her yesterday, and her family says that she did not survive. So that's sad.
So was it the
really
second
trolling.
fall that killed her?
I think so, because
it was only, 4 or 5 days, so it wasn't like starvation or anything like that.
Right. No water, so that may have been an issue, but I don't know. How long can you go? I always hear three days or so without water.
I think it's like
is it longer
5.
than that?
Yeah, I think it's like 5 without water, and then like 7 or 8 without food or something like that.
Yeah, so they sent a drone down. They saw her moving around. They saw all that, and they knew where she was. But by the time rescuers got to that position, she was gone again, and they think she fell even further. And then they finally did find her yesterday. So that's a sad end to that story. Jeff Bezos' lavish Venice wedding plans hit a bit of a snag this week as activists continue to threaten to flood the city's famous canals with inflatable crocodiles. So apparently this activism and these people, out there saying they do not want him in town getting married.
Why?
Forced him to relocate his celebration to a more secure venue. So Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez will now host their main wedding reception at an historic shipyard complex, which is ringed with fortified walls and would be a lot more challenging to disrupt than the original location, which was a 16th century building right in the center of the city. So here's why, Thick. Activists are upset because they say the city has become a playground for the uber rich, and these activists want to draw attention to income inequality. They're like, so there's that whole argument. And then the fact that about 95 private jets will be landing in Venice for Friday's wedding. 95 private jets. So we have eco issues and all that people are protesting. They're just out there. They don't like it. They don't want Venice to be known as just a place for the uber rich. And
there's a lot of places that have, seasonal tourism or whatever, and then the people that live there full time, they get tired of it. They get tired of the extra traffic. It messes up,
Well, that is part of it too.
They don't want all this. They don't want the madhouse.
Constantly rerouting. Constantly have to deal with security issues. You've got people like Elon Musk, Kim Kardashian, Gayle King, Oprah Winfrey. Like all these people are heading in.
It's like a $20 million wedding.
That sounds like a lot of money for their economy too.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, maybe unless they're doing everything private. I mean, if they're going to spend $20 million, they're flying their own chefs in.
They said they're using local economy. About 70% of what they have paid for comes from the local economy. So they are pouring in. So, but you've got people from that protest for good reasons, or maybe you don't agree. It doesn't matter. But that's what's happening there. Right now, and it's interesting that it did impact where he's going to be getting married. So, interesting situation. All right, those are your 3 things.
Are you holding on to this little secret you wish you could just blurt out, but you can't? Well, you could always go visit Fesshole, which stands for confession hole, where people go on anonymously and just admit things. And man, some of them are good. I like visiting every once in a while and seeing what people are admitting to. Here's one. I was on one of those flights where it was overbooked and I was asked to give up my seat. I looked at my wife and 3 young kids and did not hesitate. Straight off. 24 hours in a hotel, all paid for on my own. Straight bliss. I cheated on my wife and she found out. Rather than kicking me out or treating me bad, she's been very reasonable, talking through it, and we're getting couples counseling. I feel like the worst person in the world, and I'm reminded of it every day. I'd rather she just dumped me. I can see that. Knowing what horrible thing you did, and the person is actually being nice to you, and it just makes you feel worse.
Yeah, it's like pouring hot coals on their head.
Yeah.
That's a Bible verse. Just be kind.
Doctor says I need to do more exercise, but I'm terrified of having a heart attack in the middle of nowhere and not being found until I'm dead. So I walk the corridors of my local large hospital knowing that I'll be treated in seconds if I collapse. People think I work there. That's like taking mall walking to the next level.
Right.
Just do hospital walking.
Great idea.
Yeah. When I was 4, I was on a go-kart during family vacation, and I accidentally ran over my dad's toe as he was wearing open-toed sandals. I'm 29 now. It wasn't an accident. I did that on purpose. No malice in it. I love my dad. I just had an intrusive thought and said, screw it. Sorry, Dad.
Also, dudes shouldn't be wearing open-toed sandals. All right, I'm sorry.
I'm not a sandal fan.
No.
Well, one, I've got the feet of a 75-year-old man. So I don't like sandals.
I'm going to expand it to say nobody. I hate open-toed sandals. I hate feet.
So no flip-flops allowed?
No, I hate feet.
Oh my gosh.
No, I'm not. I don't. If you want to wear them, I don't hate you for it. I just don't like a sandal.
I think
don't wanna
they're
look at your
uncomfortable.
feet.
And then some of those sandals that women wear are like, it's like walking on paper. Like there's nothing to them. I'm like, why are you even doing that?
I don't
to
wanna
make sure you
see
don't
your-
get rocks in
Yeah.
your foot. Like I don't understand.
I don't want to see your big old painted toenails. I don't want to look at your feet. So if you're wearing sandals, I probably won't look maybe below the knee.
And especially the thong that splits the big toe and the middle toe. That is so uncomfortable. Here's another confession from Fesshole. My husband made a comment about divorced couples and how the woman is either sleeping with their fitness instructor before the divorce or date one straight after. I had a quick panic attack that he found out I'm sleeping with my my fitness instructor, but I'm still getting away with it.
Uh-oh. Not for long.
Not for long. And finally, if I'm in an elevator and see someone rushing to the door, I acknowledge them and make a big show of reaching for the door button so they can catch it. In reality, I'm pressing the closed door button. No one's getting on my elevator. I'm sure there are other people out there like that. Although I read somewhere that those open and closed door buttons don't really do anything.
Yeah, it's just on a timing.
It's on a timing thing. Yeah. It's on a timer and a sensor.
Yeah, like a crosswalk. Or...
Yeah, but if it's starting to close, you hit the open button, it'll open it up.
That's true.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's closing any faster if you're
Yeah,
pushing
I
the
don't
closed door button. Just saying. There you go. Confessions from Fesshole, 99.7 The Blitz.
From Atlanta, Fulton County. What color I see? Then you may go, and there's an exchange of...
Tales from across the pond.
Our first story takes us over to New Zealand. And I'm still... I don't know what I am. Confused? Questioning? I don't know. Because New Zealand has a new ad campaign. And it just won a prize as the Cannes Lions Award for being recognized in excellence in the creative industry. And so I don't know if this is a real ad or if this is the company that won the contest because of their creativity. But New Zealand is trying to boost their visitation. Apparently New Zealand used to be a real hot spot for tourists and visitation. I guess they've seen their numbers kind of dwindle since COVID. And so they're trying to rebuild them. So the New Zealand Herpes Foundation decided to create an ad. Well, take a listen.
Once upon a time, the world wanted to be New Zealand. We had the cup, the clean green image, the Earth's sexiest accent. Everyone wanted a slice of our pie. But now look at us. Our sheep-to-human ratio is embarrassingly low. Our national pride is somewhat less than outstanding. We need something new to be proud of, something big and brave to put us back on the map. It's time for New Zealand to become the best place in the world to have it. 4 out of 5 Kiwis are counting on us because no other country is strong enough to tackle this issue. With a bit of education, we can beat the stigma. Let's make New Zealand the best place in the world to have herpes.
That's their big message.
Wow.
New Zealand is the best place in the world to have herpes.
I mean, why? Is it like treatment options?
I don't
or is it
know.
just because we want to, open our arms to...
Or basically, like, everyone here, almost everyone here already has it, so if you have it, come on by.
Yeah, we all already have it,
Right.
so...
Nothing to worry about. You can completely go unwrapped if you want. Come raw dog in New Zealand. No problems there.
It's the best place for it.
I don't understand. Well, congratulations to the New Zealand Herpes Foundation on their new award.
Yeah, okay.
Our second story takes us over to Paris, and this is actually a follow-up to a story we had yesterday. If you remembered, I shared this crazy story of a British man who was arrested because he rented out part of Disneyland Paris for a wedding. Not only that, he hired actors to be in the wedding group as guests at this wedding. But then employees at Disneyland Paris saw a 9-year-old girl in a wedding dress.
Oh, yes.
And come to find out that this apparently was some big ploy for a money laundering scheme. The people that were hired as actors to be in the audience didn't know what was going on. They just knew they were hired for an acting job. It was very strange. Well, come to find out, as they dug a little deeper, it's actually much sicker than that, unfortunately. And it did not have to deal with money laundering. This actually was a man, a 39-year-old man, who was trying to marry a 9-year-old girl.
Gross.
They rented out the Sleeping Beauty Castle. They had 100 guests, again, who didn't know really what was going on. Unfortunately and sadly, the 3 people that were arrested were not only this man who was trying to marry a 9-year-old, but the child's mom and a 24-year-old woman who was playing the role as the bride's sister was also involved. So kind of a trafficking situation.
Send them all to New Zealand to get herpes.
Of the taint.
Yes.
Without a doubt. And so obviously concerns were raised when the 9-year-old was in the wedding dress being held by her mom. She had high heels taped to her feet. She couldn't even fit in the high heels.
Oh, my gosh.
And here's the 2 craziest parts about this. The event was due to be broadcast on social media platforms. What? How is that possible? And 2, even more disturbing, this man, this 39-year-old, who was getting ready to marry a 9-year-old, was already on the UK sex offender list for previous problems.
Of course he was.
How did any of this come to be?
I'm so glad that they were busted. I mean...
Oh, 100%.
You do that out loud in public. Like, you think you're going to get away with this. That's how brazen and unconcerned you are.
Broadcast on social media platforms.
It's so gross.
What? This man needs to be given a Prince Albert and then strung up by it.
Ooh, I like that.
Absolutely unbelievable.
Before or after the trip to New Zealand?
Oh, after.
After,
okay. For sure. Yeah. Because once he's strung up there and he's got the flare up, just let the burn sit in on the shaft.
The taint herpes.
Yes.
And Prince out. Yeah, I got it.
All of it.
I love it.
And then they need to have a little machine with a feather on the end just to irritate it and tickle it a little bit so the itch kicks in even more, and he can't do anything about it.
Diabolical mind.
Oh.
Yeah.
Straight up Saw type situation for this guy, without a doubt. That's your not so breaking news. 99.7 The Blitz. All right, time for Blitz Therapy, brought to you by Tri-State Men's Health. Your chance to have your opinion heard. 800-821-9970. You can call and text the same number now. No 2 different numbers. Give us a call. Shoot us a text. 800-821-9970. Derek sent us an email. All right, this is crazy, guys. I was previously married. We got divorced 4 years ago. My ex has kept my last name this whole time, which doesn't matter to me at all. But now I'm engaged. And my fiance is ticked that my ex has not changed back to her maiden name. Nothing I can do about it. How do I get my fiance to see that I'm not in the wrong here? What do you want me to do? And if I ask my ex to change her name, that's just going to cause all kinds of problems. And she's not going to change it back. Just out of spite alone.
Right.
So, what do you do? Now, I do know, Nora is still dealing with the process because there's just so much that goes into it. So, changing your name back, or more importantly, how do you get someone else to change their name back? 800-821-9970. How are you handling this situation, Kelly?
Well, I would be saying that I have no control over that. This guy has no control over it. When you go into a situation where there are exes involved, there is some baggage there, some worse than others.
Yes.
But part of the baggage you are agreeing to deal with is the fact that there's another woman with your soon-to-be husband's last name. That's the way it is. He has no control over that. Do you really want him meddling around with his ex anyway? Just let her go. Let her go.
Legally, can you demand someone change her name back, or
if it's her legal name now?
Yeah, it's her legal name.
You can't.
So once you get married
anything.
and you take this person's last name, that is now your legal last name.
Yeah, you go to the Social Security office and you change it. Like, you have to do a formal changing of a name, even when you get married. Like, you have to formally change your name.
And I don't know. Every single divorced woman I know who hasn't gotten remarried still has their ex's last name.
Especially if there are kids involved.
Yes.
You want your kids to have the same last name as you.
When it comes to school, that's a big deal. You know.
Yeah.
You got to go to school, and this is my kid, and
okay.
You know, do you know an ex-wife who has changed her name to her maiden name? I don't know any. I know there have been some who have done it, obviously.
That's a valid question. I don't know.
And it's probably, like Kelly says, probably a pain in the ass, the process.
Yeah, the process of doing it, yeah. 800-821-9970. How are you dealing with this situation? Are you going to, or even from a young lady who is getting ready to get married? Is there another woman out there with your soon-to-be husband's last name? Does it bother you? Would you be mad about this?
It's like, I can understand being bothered by it, obviously. It's kind of strange. Like, oh, gosh, why don't you give up the name? You didn't want him as a husband, so give the name back. I can understand being annoyed. There's nothing you can do about it. You have to figure your way through this.
0640 says, my sister's been divorced for 10 years and remarried for 7 and still has her first husband's last name.
Or she didn't take the new husband's last name? That's
man.
weird.
I mean, are there kids involved?
If there's kids involved, yeah, I don't know if I'd be okay with that. Ooh. When I marry Nora, I'm not demanding that she take my last name, but if she kept her ex's last name, I'd be a little.
Yeah.
But the boys have the last name. Yeah, all right.
But Derek's right. If he tells his ex, "Hey, could you just change your name back to your maiden name?" Well, why? Because it drives my fiance nuts. Well, then I'm definitely not.
Right?
She's
Yeah,
definitely not going to change it.
Blitz, good morning. Hi, who's this?
Hey, it's Mary.
Hi, Mary. How are you today?
I think you just talked about me on the radio.
Oh, are you the one who has a sister?
No. I have a hyphenated last name. My first husband's last name is still on my name, and my husband's ex-wife still has his last name, and our names are totally different.
Oh. Okay, so it doesn't bother you that your husband's ex still has his last name?
And my advice would be, I'm sorry for the fiance, but there's going to be a lot of people with that last name. I mean, there's other women in his family's life that has that last name. You want everybody to change their name?
That's true, too, yeah.
And for me, like my profession, I keep my maiden name on my name no matter what, because everybody knows me by my maiden name because of my profession.
Okay.
It's part of my my career.
Yeah,
to have a woman have to change her name on everything, especially today's day and age with real IDs and all that, it's a pain.
I can totally see that. Like, Derek, is your last name Smith? Because if so, like, what's
if
the
it's not,
point?
if it's not, unless it's some really rare name that nobody else has.
The only thing that, although my brother's son, my nephew, has a hyphenated last name with our last name, but technically, my last name dies with me. Basically, there's no other man in the family with my last name again, except for my nephew who's got a hyphenated last name, so it's going to kind of 50% live on. So I could see wanting the name to live on.
Yeah.
Well, that's gone on for centuries.
Yeah, for sure.
Here's an interesting perspective. This person texted in at 800-821-9970. The real question is, does he want to get married to someone who's going to make such a big deal over something this trivial that's out of his control?
Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate the phone call. Thank you so much. I hope you have a great Wednesday. 800-821-9970. Call or text to the same number. You can do that very easily now. 800-821-9970. How are you going to handle this situation? Are you approaching the ex, asking her to change the last last name? Are you kind of having a little of a discussion with your current fiance? Like it's not that big of a deal? How are you going to handle this? 99.7 The Blitz. All right, Blitz Therapy brought to you by Tri-State Men's Health. Email from Derek. He was previously married but got divorced 4 years ago, and his ex hasn't changed back to her maiden name. Still has Derek's last name, but now he's engaged again, and his fiance is a little perturbed that the ex has kept the last name and says, hey, can you talk to her about that? And he's like, what do you want me to do? I can't force her to change it. Not to mention, I don't want to talk to her anymore, and I guarantee if I come to her and say, hey, my new woman wants you to take away my last name, she's not going to do it out of spite. It's not going to happen. How would you handle this situation? 800-821-9970. Call or text the same number now. 2041 text and said, I offered to give my ex-wife $500 plus pay the court costs to get my name back. She said, nope.
Oh.
Man.
Now you're just doing that out of spite.
That seems like spite for sure.
Pam said fiance needs to get over it. I kept mine because of children. He wanted me to change it.
Yep.
I think children has a lot to do with why people don't change. Yeah.
0502. The real question is, do you want to get married to someone that's going to make such a big deal over something that's out of his control? Like like you said, why deal with the headache? And that's what's going to irritate you.
It's just, I get being annoyed by it. I do understand the annoyance. It feels weird. However, if I were him, I would say, listen, there's nothing I can do about it. You're probably going to maybe do some soul searching and see how badly this is going to bother you because it's not going to change.
1864, fiance needs to get over it. I kept mine because of the children. He wanted me to change it, so just to piss him off, I kept it. See? If they want you to do something.
Bell?
What?
Didn't he just read the text I just read? I swear you did.
I don't think so, because there have been 19 texts about doing it just to piss him off.
Okay.
Okay. You happy now?
Half-hearted. That's okay. Yeah, I didn't notice it, so.
Sometimes you just got to pet him on the head and be like, okay, sure.
All right.
Okay,
All right.
Just for you, Thick. I got you. You feel like a big boy now?
He's so quick to hit that bell on you or me, Kelly, but he's just going to blow it right off when he does it.
Let me tell you that a really dear friend of mine got divorced, and she was at the Social Security office the next day to change her name back to her maiden name.
We've got a couple like that. She was like, it was in my divorce creed that I'm changing my name
I'm going back, baby.
Not keeping it. So.
Colton said women these days won't take a man's last name, but they'll take his money and house in a divorce.
They will. That is true. So, Derek, I think you need to have a little sit down with your current fiance and be like, look, it's not worth the trouble. Yeah. Let's just get over it, move on, and live happily ever after together. Hold on, let me appease him because texts are coming in that I did read the same one.
Well, it's not about appeasing me. It was your idea to do this. I didn't realize.
That's me patting him on the head.
I didn't realize it was only a rule for you and I, Kelly. I did not know that.
Good job, Thick. I'm very proud of you.
Oh, he is trying to cover his ass. Look at this. You jerk.
And now, all right, I'm listening. The 3 things you need to know before you go.
Well, AEP Ohio is asking customers to conserve energy during these high temperature days this week. The electricity provider yesterday issued an emergency request to cut down on usage. Why does this annoy me so much? I know it's stressed. The system's stressed. We're stressed with the Intel situation. We're stressed with the Google data center situation. AI. All kinds of stuff. But the people who get boned in their AEP bills, we're footing the bill over here. And then we're also getting brownouts. Is that what you're telling me? I don't like it. How about stop those construction projects on days that it's going to be over 90? How about that?
You've waited long enough.
Yeah.
It's already been years. So take a couple days off.
I don't know if that's a solution, but it sounds like it could be to me. But anyway, AEP says the hot weather is putting a significant burden on the regional power grid. They recommend turning up your thermostats a couple degrees and avoiding the use of large appliances between 3 and 7 p.m. Well, prepare to re-enter the Squid Game arena. The 3rd and final season of the South Korean drama arrives on Friday. Will player 4, 5, 6 finally defeat the frontman and end the deadly competition once and for all? Or will he die trying? Season 3 will follow Gi-hoon as he grapples with a horrific loss he suffered at the end of Season 2. No spoilers. The new episodes pick up directly after that final scene, and the director says he is confident that he's bringing the story to its deserved close.
All right.
Yeah, no one cares. More importantly, The Bear debuts today on Hulu.
Oh, is that back?
Season
4.
4.
Yep.
Okay. Squid Game Season 3 will drop at 3 a.m. Friday, and all 6 episodes will be available.
And what do you mean nobody cares?
Nobody cares.
Yeah, we do.
It's The Bear. The Bear is a much better
That's
show.
great, but we care about Squid Game.
All right. In Devon, England, 2 European brown bears named Mish and Lucy somehow got out of their enclosure at the Wildwood Devon Sanctuary this week. There were 16 children there for the visit at the sanctuary. They were all hustled into a secure building. But it turns out the bears didn't make a run for it. They weren't being violent. They weren't trying to eat anybody. They moseyed straight on over to where the sanctuary stores food. Someone left the doors open, and the 400-pound bears started dipping their paws into the honey pots. They sat there for an entire hour, and they were on closed caption TV. They were watching them. They managed to eat what officials say was an entire week's worth of honey in one sitting. Mish eventually dragged her fat butt back to her pen on her own. Lucy was lured back with treats. I'm like, oh, you're lucky she wanted treats at that point.
Right.
A week's worth of honey in that belly? The 2 bears were rescued in 2019 from a pile of snow in Albania. Oh, so they deserve a honey binge. Let them have their honey binge.
Just put a T-shirt on both of them with no pants and let them just poo it around.
I was going to say, was Eeyore with them?
No kidding.
Oh, bother.
All right, those are your 3 things.
Good for them. I mean, yeah, what did you think they're going to do?
Yeah.
Smell honey? You're going to leave the door open? Yeah.
Hey, look what they left us. That's what they thought.
You're going to leave the back door to your chicken wing restaurant open? With nobody
and
there?
Expect Goose
I'm
won't come in?
Yeah. It's not out of my control. I have to go in.
Right.
Like, it's the human nature. I'm going to go into your chicken wing restaurant and eat all your chicken wings until I'm sick to my stomach.
And weirdly enough, Goose only wears a T-shirt, no pants.
That's right. I'm just Winnie the Poohing it all around your restaurant. Without a doubt. 100%. That's how you taste the sauces. A little dip.
Ew.
A little dip.
Dip.
Okay.
Why are you crouching down when you say dip?
He loves to do the motions, doesn't he?
Some people talk with their hands. I talk with my dip.
Yeah, he does.
99.7 The Blitz. I think it was about a month ago we had a conversation about brand loyalty.
Yeah.
And, you know, what's that one brand or that one product you only buy one? But a lot of people were talking about tools.
Yeah.
We did have some food stuff in
Homemade
there.
brand ice cream.
Yeah. Heinz ketchup.
Yep.
You know, things like that.
Why would you buy anything but? I remember you just going off on Heinz.
There was a woman I saw on TikTok. She's got a really funny TikTok account called Let's Get Bake and Bake. And so she'll duck behind her kitchen counter, and all you see is like some plumes of smoke. And she'll cough, and then she'll start making things. And she was making a recipe, and she was talking about using Hunt's, and anything else is wrong.
Oh,
and yeah, and I deleted her account right there. Not having that kind of negativity in my life. There's no way. Well, I bring it up because they did a bit of a study, and they talked to different generations about brand loyalty and who they trust based on generations. For Gen Zers, the brand that they trust the most is TikTok.
Wow. Are you serious?
Followed by Duolingo, Crocs, and Fenty Beauty. For millennials, the brand that is Bitcoin. They really trust Bitcoin.
Wow, okay.
Yep. Let me see. Oh, I'm sorry. I was on the wrong section. This is compared to other adults. Let me go back to the beginning. For Gen Zers, the most trusted brand is YouTube.
Okay.
Followed by Band-Aid, Dawn dish soap, Costco, and Google.
Okay.
Other highly ranking brands, Nike, Ben & Jerry's, and Netflix.
That makes sense. Those are good.
That was for Gen Z. For millennials, the most trusted brand is Google, followed by The United States Postal Service, which I don't know who's got a trust in them right now.
Why?
Really?
Yes, absolutely. That is like one of the last great companies out there that I can depend on. I put a stamp on an envelope and put it in the mailbox. It goes where it's supposed to go.
I guess there's that. That's
it's
true.
amazing to me that they get it right. So now I know nobody's perfect. They will have them, but I don't remember any time that what I mailed didn't get there.
Okay, you're not wrong. Other trusted brands for millennials: Visa, Hershey's, Lego, and the Weather Channel ranked very high.
The Weather Channel? Are you kidding?
Yeah.
I definitely will argue that one.
For Gen X, the most trusted brand is Dawn dish soap. Followed by Oral-B, Heinz Ketchup, Home Depot, and Betty Crocker.
Okay.
And I guess that kind of makes sense, being the oldest of those generations.
Right. I don't have anything against Home Depot, but I don't know if I'm always getting the best thing for my money.
Don't do a ton of shopping at Home Depot. I think Nora just mentioned they're filing for bankruptcy.
Oh, really?
I think so.
I mean, I'll go to all of them. I'll go to Home Depot, Lowe's, Menards.
I'll go for the whatever's closest. Like you said, if I got Lowe's around the corner, I'll go to Lowe's. You know. Let me see here. Have they or are they? It looks like it says Home Depot's rival. So that's interesting. Okay. Well, I mean, the Home Depot type buildings, the Home Depot type offices and businesses are seeing troubles with rising costs for goods and ordering online versus shopping in the big box stores.
Ah, man.
I put the question out there one time, and I would love to know if you're a Home Depot manager or work at one of these big box stores like a Lowe's, how many, take a guess, how many pieces are inside a Home Depot store?
Just pieces of stuff. Oh, it's got to be millions.
Is it? You think it's millions?
Yeah, you count every screw, washer,
every nut.
Yeah. All of that.
Are there 2 million individual pieces in a Home Depot?
Absolutely. I have to believe that.
How do you inventory in a store like that?
Oh, well, I mean, it's all digital, obviously. You know, it's amazing, though, because you can go online if you're looking for an item, and you can go Lowe's or Home Depot. You search and you find the item you want. It tells you what aisle and what bay it's in.
Yes, yeah.
It's in stock, and you'll find it right here
there.
in this aisle, which... That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have that back in the day.
Well, I mean, you can do that if you're. I've walked around Kroger before and been like, "Where's this?" And you go to the Kroger app and you type it in, it'll tell you where it's at.
That's such a great thing.
That is true.
You know, but it's got to be. It's millions. It's got to be millions. I mean, every packet of seeds, every light bulb, every. I mean, my God, how many screwdrivers are in that store?
Right? Yeah. You know? Not wrong. 987 The Blitz.
Now, let's see if we can learn you something. Sit up and pay attention.
Yeah, let's learn you some stuff on a Wednesday morning. Did you know it takes 60 tons of paint to cover the Eiffel Tower?
I believe that.
Weighs about the same as 10 elephants. That's a lot of paint.
That's a lot of damn paint.
Yeah. There's only one country in the Americas where more people speak a native language other than the language of a country that colonized them. It's Paraguay, where 90% of people speak Guarani, I believe is how it's pronounced.
Guarani?
Uh-huh. And 87% speak Spanish. So, most countries speak the language of the country that colonized them. They've kept their native language.
Okay.
Yeah. No one knows exactly how the Academy Awards started being called the Oscars.
And that's the name of the dude, right? The trophy?
That's what they call him now, but why?
That's what they're saying. Some dude back in the day named Oscar that they named it after or modeled it after.
You would think. But that's not the reason. Otherwise, people would know that's the reason.
Yeah, I guess
no one knows why they call it the Oscars.
So we don't know that's not why, though.
Correct.
So you're not giving us the answer?
There is no answer.
Oh, my God.
No one knows why it's called the Oscars. That's the fun fact. No one knows why it's called the Oscars.
That's so stupid. Somebody needs to explain. I want answers.
Right, but you can't have an answer if there's no answer.
There has to be an answer. The first person who ever called it an Oscar knows why.
That person's probably dead.
Yeah, you're probably.
And the world will never know.
Never know.
No, never know.
You really pissed me off with this.
Because you'll never know the answer.
Now I'm mad.
I'm just going to start giving you all kinds of information
I will never believe it.
where no one knows the answer.
Oh, God.
There is a scale of close encounters.
Okay.
So, if you have a close encounter of the first kind,
yeah,
you've seen a UFO. If you have a close encounter of the third kind, you've seen an alien. If you have a close encounter of the fourth kind, you've been abducted by aliens. Which, by the way, the fourth kind, if you haven't seen that movie, that's a freaky alien movie.
Is this following Close Encounters of the Third Kind with Richard Dreyfuss? Is that part of the series?
No.
I know it was much later. Oh, okay.
No, this is his own movie.
Did they do a Close Encounters of the Fourth Kind?
I don't know. There's just a movie called The Fourth Kind.
Okay, all right.
And it is a freaky alien movie. It's scary.
Mm.
And finally, the seventh kind, a close encounter of the seventh kind.
Wait. What happened to 5 and 6?
They don't give the explanation.
Okay.
Well, there's also no close encounter of the second kind either. They go from first to third.
Again, what is this? This is stupid.
Close encounter of the seventh kind is having sex with an alien.
I might be into that.
It's actually
you never know.
Scale. You don't know.
Might be incredible.
We may never know.
I definitely will never know.
And finally, if you're off there making your paycheck today, just know if you earned $10,000 every day, 365 days per year, from when they were building the pyramids in ancient Egypt until today, you would only have about 4% of Elon Musk's current wealth.
Oh, I'd be okay with that, though.
Oh, yeah, I'm not saying I wouldn't be.
But that's how rich he is.
4,600 years. With leap years, that's about 1,680,150 days. Multiply that by $10,000, you're going to get $16.8 billion. Elon, worth $420.5 billion.
Wow.
Now, even if you made $10,000 an hour for 24 hours a day, 365 days a year across 4,600 years, that's still just over $4 billion. You're still going to be behind Elon Musk by about $20 billion.
Wow. I didn't realize how far behind Elon, Mark Zuckerberg, and Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates are.
Oh, yeah. Elon is so far. I think he's double the next.
Almost.
Yeah.
He's got 423 and Zuckerberg's got 241.
Yeah.
So almost. And then Bezos with 223.
Absolutely ridiculous.
And you throw in Bill Gates, there's $1 trillion between those four.
Yeah, between those four. Absolutely.
Good
and
God.
What's so crazy is they talk about, income inequality and things like that. We look at us or even a billionaire.
Yeah.
But then if you look at the billionaires, he's twice the amount of the next person on the list.
Yeah.
Absolutely unbelievable.
But when you think about it, so there's those four with $1 trillion. But then you think about the U.S. debt is $30 trillion.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Nuts.
So by that, looking at that, they don't have that much.
Right.
You compare it to the debt.
Learning you some stuff on a Wednesday morning, 99.7 The Blitz.
Breaking news from the stadium tonight as an anonymous fan foot the bill for 55,000 hot dogs, bringing that sweet tubed meat to everyone in attendance.
Free dogs! Yeah!
55,000 hot dogs? What does that even cost? While the identity of this Frankfurter philanthropist remains anonymous, their all-beefy generosity will go down in history.
The new Mega Millions. More to win means more to give. How you spend it is up to you.
Yeah!
For game odds and details, visit SCEducationlottery.com.